Okay, guys, so apparently there is an upcoming Forbidden Limited List update. This is in addition to the one we saw yesterday, and from what I've heard, it has pre-hit nerfs to Bystial. So let's take a look. Okay, so cards to be limited. They're gonna be cut down to 1 instantly? Wait, that's sick. Wait, that means I can play Sky Strikers. I kind of have an idea of what Bystials do, but we're gonna learn a little bit later for anyone who's not in the know. It's gonna be Bystial Magna Hut, okay? Bystial Magna Hut and Bystial Druisworm. These cards will be limited before they even come out. Wow. That's it. That is it. That is crazy. Magna Hut is going to be limited. That is nuts. Okay. And then the new selection pack. Climax of the Showdown. They're going to introduce the Bestial archetype from the Abyss and then the Abyss actors. And that's where we're going to see the Bestial Lubellion, Gran Guignol, the Dust Dragon. Okay. So they're going to get hit right before they come out. Limited to 1. But what do these cards do? Why are they so powerful? We're going to figure it out with the help of TheDuelLogs over here. He has a great video apparently. It says Bystial's engine explained very quickly and easily. Yugioh, about 13 minutes. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Just in case anyone is confused about what Bystials do.
Here's how the Bystial engine works. Bystials are an archetype of dragon monsters based around banishing light or dark monsters from either player's graveyard to special summon themselves to the field. Usually, the effect is spell speed 1, but it becomes a quick effect when your opponent controls a monster. This
Okay, that was a little quick, but from what I just gathered in the first 13 seconds, they're basically a better DD Crow because they get to banish a light or dark monster in either graveyard in order to special summon themselves, as if that's a cost, and it's a quick effect if the opponent controls a monster, which is just nuts. Reduce to 0.75 speed. We're not going to reduce it to 0.75 speed, Gabe. We're not going to do that. Way better than a DD Crow. Yeah, I mean, DD Crow is like universally able to be used on anything. This is only targeting light or dark monsters, but it's like DD Crow with the body, right? And it's with light or dark monsters, which is nuts. So you can use Bystials to interrupt tier limit plays. You could use Bystials to grief Sky Striker players. But importantly here, 2 of them, Magna Hut and Druisworm, are going to be limited in Master Duel as they come out. That's kind of nuts. They also do their own thing, so I guess we're going to hear exactly what they do individually.
Lets Bystials interact with your opponent's graveyard in a very similar way to DD Crow.
Yeah.
Each Bystial also comes with its own beneficial effect, either on field or in the graveyard.
All right.
Say Rainier is a foolish burial for branded spells, traps, and Bystial monsters.
That's nuts.
Swarm and Baldrake are removal for your opponent's monsters, and Magna Hut, the best of them all, lets you search for any dragon monster during the end phase after its special summon.
Damn, that's crazy. This is so I wanted to run Bystials for like Dragon Maids, but so essentially what's getting limited is Magna Hut. He's the searcher on the end phase, and then it was Druisworm. Druisworm is a form of removal, like he said. It says if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So just target, send it to the graveyard. It's not destruction, right? But it is target, so
Swarm and Baldrake are
still pretty good
for your opponent's monsters, and Magna
Video's
Hut,
low, by the way. Okay, sorry about that. Let's turn it up a little bit.
To them all, lets you search for any dragon monster during the end phase after its special summon. But as well as the regular Bystial monsters, there's also the Bystial monsters.
Okay.
These monsters aren't DD Crows, but come with their own powerful effects, with the most important one being the Bystial Lubellion. Lubellion lets you search for any Bystial monster, can also be used to place a branded continuous spell trap to your field. This usually grabs branded beast for removal or branded regained for free advantage. Bystials are currently seeing play for how effective they are at countering tier limits, a strategy filled with dark monsters that have graveyard effects to fusion summon that the Bystials can put a stop to.
Yeah, this archetype seems like they were built specifically to grief tier limit players, just exactly for the reason you said.
As a result, the Bystials you play and their ratios are very dependent on how much you want to counter tier limits, and how much the Bystial synergize with your own deck. The smallest Bystial package people play is 3 Magna Huts and 1 Druid Swarm. This gives you a small...
Well, now you can only play 1. Now you can only play 1. That's great. That's great.
Hand trap.
So it's more like situational deck because you need Dark and Light and Graveyard. I wouldn't say it's like a situational deck because obviously what you can do, it's in either graveyard. So if your opponent's playing Light or Dark, that's great. You could grief your opponent. If they're not, you're going to be playing Light or Dark monsters. So you're going to be setting things up, right? So no matter what, these cards are very good. DD Crow with the body, big body, level 6 body. It's nuts.
Engine that counters tier limits without having to dedicate too much of your deck space to it. Although if you want an even bigger engine to counter tier, you can play extra copies of Druid Swarm alongside multiple copies of Serenir or Baldrake for a maximum of 12 Bystial hand traps.
Baldrake.
But as well as the regular Bystials, some decks will choose to play 1 to 3 copies of the Bystial Lubellion. And when you're playing Lubellion, you can choose to expand your Bystial package even further to get the most amount of advantage possible from the engine by playing a copy of Branded Beast and or copies of Branded Regain.
So it sounds like you're just playing like Bystials at that point. Bystial branded.
Now, let's talk about what the engine actually does. Starting off with the hand traps.
Okay.
Every one of the regular...
These are hand traps, guys. Remember when hand traps had like 0 attack, maybe like 500 attack, maybe they're like level 1, level 3. These are hand traps, people. So stupid.
Bystial Monsters is a level 6 Dark Dragon with 25.
Remember back in my day.
Share one effect. This lets you target a light or dark monster in either player's graveyard and banish it so you can special summon the Bystial you activated to your field. This effect is already decently strong and can be used to deprive your opponent of some graveyard resources. But the reason why this effect is so powerful and why...
These only work if your opponent controls a monster, not free all the time. That is true. Yeah, that is important to keep in mind. They are only a quick effect if you're playing against Bystials. They're only a quick effect if you control a monster. But I mean, like, it's gonna happen if you're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh. Unless I guess you're playing Runic. Maybe this one doesn't hurt Runics. That's for sure.
Why all the Bystials
unless like you have Huggin, I guess, but yeah.
Manage to see common competitive play as an effective engine is because this effect becomes a quick effect while your opponent controls a monster. This means that every regular Bystial monster you play acts as a hand trap that you can use on your opponent's turn in order to interact with their graveyard, and it is currently commonly used to banish an activated tier limit monster when your opponent tries to perform a fusion summon, cutting off tier decks from some of their powerful fusion boss monsters.
Really strong.
And their stats mean that while they're on the field, every Bystial monster is a threat to your opponent.
Like these hand traps have 2,500 attack. They're actual dragons, right? That's nuts.
Either use the Bystial monsters that threaten your opponent's boss monsters with the battle phase to remove them from the field, or you can take advantage of the Bystial typing, attribute, and level to access a ton of powerful extract pieces. From the Dark Charmer or Harass.
Yeah, rank 6 Axis is kind of nuts. I don't know what Wallow does, but Beatrice is really good. Beatrice is just dump any monster from your grave, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like a Lavalval chain, right? Yeah, it's any card. It's not even a monster. Send any card from deck to grave. That's nuts. And then Hieratic is also really cool.
Seals to Wallow and Beatrice. But
Wallow's crazy. Wallow shuffles stuff in graveyard. Return to the deck. Target opponent's graveyard. Detach 1 or 2. 1 is return to deck. 2 if the target is a monster. Special stuff. You could monster reborn your opponent's monster? Okay. Alright. It's kind of crazy, and that's a quick effect. Wow.
Despite all the common traits shared by the Bystials, they aren't all created equal. Magna Hut is the best out of the regular Bystials. Its unique effect triggers whenever it's special summoned and lets you search for any dragon monster from your deck or graveyard during the end phase of the turn.
It's good. That's good, because he's the one that's limited. Stupid Magma Nut.
The effect is a huge reason why the Bystial engine works so well. Because
that's kind of crazy. Like, this is like the main engine driver, because he gets to add one, right? So when you summon him as a hand trap, you just get another hand trap to hand, right? Easy peasy. But now he's limited to 1. That's pretty good. That's a good hit, because this, I don't know about you, but I like after they banned the Ishizus, I'm glad that they're like cutting down on like the graveyard griefing. You know what I mean? It's graveyard griefing, and they're cutting it down. That's good. That's good in my eyes. Why at least semi-limited? No, it's limited. It's going to be limited before it comes out.
Because with Magna Hut, your hand trap lets you search for another hand trap for free, even if your Druid...
Magna Hut is searchable, by the way. Add 1 dragon monster from your deck to your or graveyard to your hand except Magna Hut. Okay. Yeah, by the branded stuff, right? I mean, if you aren't a light or dark deck, these do nothing to you. Yes, they don't do nothing to you if you're not a light or dark deck, but I mean, I like playing Sky Strikers, I like playing Tearlament, so they do everything to me.
Druid Swarm happens to already...
Hieratic Spheres, oh.
In fact, this search effect is so strong that Magna Hut is currently limited in the OCG, and is even considered an active detriment to have Magna Hut in your graveyard.
And it's limited in Master Duel, baby, before it came out. That's so good.
Because your opponent can use the effect of Dark the Dark Charmer to summon out your Magna Hut and turn their Bystial engine online. But Magna Hut isn't just limited to searching Bystial monsters.
Oh, wait, that's nuts. Hold on. Go back again. Go back. He said, like, you could make your Dark summon their Bestial Magma Nut, and then your Bestials are now activated. That's kind of crazy.
Detriment to have Magna Hut in your graveyard, because your opponent can use the effect of Dark the Dark Charmer to summon out your Magna Hut and turn their Bystial engine online. But Magna Hut isn't just limited to searching Bystial monsters. It can also search for any other dragon in the entire game. So a lot of decks that play powerful dragon monsters like Branded and Dragon Link will take advantage of Magna Hut as a consistency tool as well as a hand.
Or if you just like to play like dragon decks for whatever reason, like Dragon Maid or Blue Eyes, right? You could play Magma Nut and be pretty happy. You have like a really crazy sick hand trap that just happens to search you a dragon monster. That's pretty nuts.
Hand trap. So they can grab cards like Fallen of Albaz or Starlight Seifert. Although most decks that don't play dragons will usually use Magna Hut to search another bestial name, with the most common name being searched being Bystial Druid Swarm. Druid Swarm's unique effect makes it incredibly powerful as a removal option, because whenever Druid Swarm is sent from the field to the graveyard,
that's the second limit. Okay.
You get to target a special summon monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard, bypassing any kind of destruction protection. This means that even if your opponent isn't playing any light or dark strategies, Druid Swarm can still be an effective tool at clearing away an opponent's board, provided you can summon it to the field.
Yeah.
Especially because, like all of the Bystials, Druid Swarm's stats and typing make it a perfect body for link plays, since you can link it off and trigger its effect.
Yep, it just says if this card is sent from field to graveyard, so link material easy.
The only downside to Druid Swarm is that the effect only triggers when it's sent specifically from the field to the graveyard.
Yeah,
so you won't be able to activate if your
not
Druid
from
Swarm
the
is
hand.
destroyed in hand or detached from an Xyz monster.
Okay.
This actually contrasts with Serenir's unique effect, which triggers whenever it's sent to the graveyard by any means, and allows you to foolish any Bestial monster or any branded spell or trap card.
Wait, what? If this card is sent to the graveyard? Oh, really? So you could detach this guy from as Xyz material and do this? That's kind of crazy.
This effect is actually incredibly strong in branded decks, or decks willing to play an expanded Bystial package.
That's a free search card for those brick decks, yeah. It's nice dragon support, it really is, but it's also very toxic. I feel like it's pretty toxic. It just griefs specifically light and dark graveyard decks.
In branded decks,
it's incredibly busted in Dragoonity. Yeah, I heard Dragon Links are really good with Bystials.
Use Serenir to send a spell or trap with strong graveyard effects to the graveyard, like Branded Retribution in order to recur your spell and trap cards, or Branded Opening to protect your fusion monsters from destruction. Or in non-branded decks, by playing other bigger Bystial packages, you can send the Bystial Lubellion so you can summon it from the graveyard, or send Branded Regain so that later you can place it onto the field with Branded Beast. But when compared to Magna Hut, Druid Swarm, and any of the other Bystials, Serenir is ran the least because its effect is a lot less generically powerful.
Yeah.
So a lot of decks that run it only really play it as an alternative search of Magna Hut in case they already drew into Druid Swarm. However, come Photon Hypernova, Serenir may see even less play because of the release of Bystial Baldrake, another Bystial monster with a powerful form of generic removal. Baldrake's unique effect triggers whenever your opponent summons out a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster, whether from the extra deck, graveyard, or banished pile, and lets you tribute another light or dark monster you control to banish that spell.
Baldrake.
This effect can be difficult to trigger since you need to control another light or dark monster to tribute for the Baldrake, but it pairs excellently with the other Bystial monsters, especially with Serenir or Druid Swarm. Because if you tribute either Serenir or Druid Swarm, not only is Baldrake removing your opponent's extra deck monster from the field, it's also triggering your other Bystial graveyard effects.
Okay, I kind of missed it, but yeah, tribute one other light or dark monster, then target one of those summon monsters, banish it. That's pretty nuts. And it triggers off of when your opponent special summons, Ritual Summon, Synchro Exceed, or Link Summon. That's kind of crazy. And then they trigger those graveyard effects. Okay, got it. Sorry. I wasn't keeping up, so I'm just like pausing it to kind of catch up here.
And will either give you a free Foolish for Serenir, or another way to remove your opponent's monsters in the field with Druid Swarm. This means that on your first turn, drawing Baldrake and Druid Swarm is equivalent to 4 interactions.
Baldrake is actually the worst one of the 4? You think so?
Actions by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like, it does seem like Magma Nut and Druid Swarm are the biggest ones, right? Which is great that they're being limited. At least for me, because I like playing Tear Elements. I like playing Sky Strikers. Hey, Konami is giving good special treatment to Tear Element and Sky Strikers. I'm happy. We're getting Kagari slowly into unlimited, right? We got what else was there? I think actually no, I think that was it. It was just like Kagari getting slowly unlimited. It's pretty cool. I think Widow Anchor also got freed up a bit, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm happy.
These Bystial monsters all form the basis of an incredibly strong and game-warping ham-trap engine that's sometimes even capable of winning games all on its own.
Yeah.
But if you want your Bystial engine to have a stronger payoff, there are a number of non-hand-trap
Engage the 3, Konami.
The Bystial Lubellion is a really important card for expanded Bystial packages, with 3 incredibly strong effects, with each one being a hard once per turn. Unlike the other Bystials, Lubellion isn't a dark monster. It's light, and it doesn't have an effect that lets you summon it out by banishing a light or dark monster.
So the Bestial Lubellion, if you guys don't know from the lore, we actually did a little lore research, but apparently this guy is like the love dragon. It's the combined form of Albaz and what's her name? Wait, is it a Luber? Oh, wait. Oh, my bad. Wait, no, this is a Luber like cucking Ecclesia then. Oh, this is the wrong dragon. My bad. Okay, he's like this is like the NTR dragon. This is like the NTR dragon. My bad.
Instead, Lubellion has its own summoning condition. It must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by tributing a level 6 or higher dark dragon monster you control, which just also happens with the criteria.
This is the gay one, not the straight one. Yeah, a Luber like literally steals Albaz from Ecclesia and then fuses them both into this dragon. Okay, I gotcha.
Of every other regular Bystial monster.
NTR dragon.
You place a branded continuous spell or trap card to your field for free. But Lubellion isn't useless in the hand either, as you can also discard it to search out any Bystial monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself.
Okay, what? I have to read this now. As a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I have to read. Okay, tribute, level 6, lighter or higher dark dragon. Okay. Can place any branded continuous spell or trap. Okay, I don't know what they do yet. Discard it to search out any Bestial monster from deck to hand. Okay, got it. Pretty cool.
Search effect
That's
is
kind of
actually
nuts.
so strong that people choose to play Lubellion just so they can have easier time accessing Bystial Magna Hut.
Magna Hut.
One of the only issues with Magna Hut as a searcher is that it can't search for other copies of
itself. Yeah.
This means that your Bystial engine isn't as recursive as it could be. But even though Magna Hut can't search for itself, it can search for Bystial Lubellion. And the Bystial Lubellion can search for Magna Hut, so in a way, by playing Lubellion, your Magna Hut searches for Magna Hut.
So you play 3-3, but now you can only play 3-1.
Condition is also quite strong, specifically because you can bring it out from the graveyard. This means that if you can send Lubellion to the graveyard in some way, like with Saronir's effect or Lubellion's in-hand effect, you can bring it back later on in the turn to bring it onto the field. In fact, current branded Bystial decks use branded fusion to send Lubellion from the deck to the graveyard so it can tribute their fusion summoned Albion to put into the graveyard for its end phase effect. And its other effect as second branded spell or trap card is absolutely absurd, and gives the Bystial package an insanely strong payoff, with 3 different commonly played targets. Branded Regained is the strongest of the 3 and generates an insane amount of advantage with its
I'm ready. I'm ready to hear what dumbass broken effect, draw 2, draw 3, search 2 or 3 monsters. It's like Block Dragon probably, right? Let's see. What is it?
2 effects. The first effect is a hard once per turn, lets you draw a card if a light or dark monster is banished, as long as you place the monster at the bottom of the deck.
That's
this
dumb.
Effect activates from every Bystial hand trap, and works with your opponent's cards too. So if you
Okay. Yeah, so you get regained out first, right? In a Bestial versus Bestial matchup, you're plussing.
you banish your opponent's monster, you can put it at the bottom of their deck so that you can draw a card. This effect...
Wait, what? If a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those monsters, place that... Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, that's fine. So, they don't remain banished, you choose instead to put it in the bottom of the deck.
Makes the Bystials an insane advantage generator in a similar way to Decode, Talk, or Heat Soul, because now every turn you interact with the graveyard, you're getting a free draw. This turns Magna Hut from just a +1 in terms of card advantage into a +3. since the Bystials you can search can banish another card for another draw. But that's not all, because Regained also has another effect, where on a soft once per turn but hard once per chain, whenever your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target a Bystial monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This gives your Bystial engine an insane amount.
Wait, what? Oh no, this is like Fluanderee's map. It's like Scream. It's like you're playing the game. I'm gonna punish you for it. Special summon any bestial monster. No, in your graveyard. Okay, and special summon it. That is kind of dumb. That is nuts.
Recursion.
You get Magna Hut,
you can
search
use it to keep
another.
back your copies
Or
of Magna Hut to keep searching during each end phase. Or
Druid
alternatively,
Swarm.
you can even bring back Baldrake or
Baldrake.
Druid Swarm if you want to use their removal effects. As well as Branded Regained, you can also play
That's
Branded
crazy.
Beast, which, like Regained, also has 2 effects. Its
Okay.
first effect is actually an incredible form of disruption, because in the main phase, while you control a Bystial monster, you can tribute a dragon monster you control to target any card your opponent controls and destroy it. This pairs really well with dragon decks that happen.
Wow, that's really nice because like a lot of those bestials have just graveyard effects, right? So you destroy something and then I think you literally banish one too, right?
To play Bystials, because beasts contribute any dragon monster, letting you tribute off cards like Harass
Red, you're playing Tears, a deck that has virtually endless recursion. Yeah, and
Seals on your own turn, so you can use
Tears
effect
are
for
cool.
extensions or to just send a card like Albion to the graveyard to use its effect in the end phase. All the while getting to pop your opponent's field and deal with their potentially problematic boss monsters and floodgates. It also pairs well with the Bystial monsters.
Dragon Link Resident Sleeper. That's so true. That's so true. Do you guys ever sat down like against a Dragon Link player? They take like 30 minutes to do one turn. I ain't about that. At least Tearlaments it's quick. It's quick. I get to play on your turn, but at least my turn's quick. It's quicker than some.
Because you can use Beast to tribute off a Druid Swarm or Saronir to use their graveyard effects. With Druid Swarm, you're getting to remove another one of your opponent's cards, but Saronir's effect is particularly strong synergy with Beast because of its second effect. Because during the end phase, Beast lets you place any branded continuous spell or trap card that's in your graveyard to your field face up. So with Saronir, you can send a copy of Branded Regained or Branded Loss, so you get access to 2 insanely strong cards for the price of 1. Speaking of Branded Loss, this also just so happens to be the 3rd most common target for the Bystial Lubellion. While Branded Loss is face up on the field, the activation of your cards and effects that cause a fusion summon cannot be negated. And when a monster is fusion summoned, your opponent can activate any cards or effects. It's important to note that it's specifically the activation of those cards and effects that can't be negated. So your opponent can still use Ash Blossom to negate your Branded Fusion, since Ash doesn't negate activation. But something like a Borreload Savage Dragon is made on.
Or I think Bar on the Floor, right?
Almost useless when Branded Loss is on the field. Especially because your opponent isn't able to respond to the resolution of a fusion summon happening. So if you...
It's quick, always running out of time in first turn. That's just because I'm out of practice, okay? It's only because I'm out of practice. I suck. It's fine though. Like, I mean, typically on a good, if I practice, if I played enough, if you guys let me play Tearlaments enough, I would have quicker first turns, okay?
You summon out a Mirror Jade and immediately activates a quick effect, that counts as being in response to the resolution of its fusion summon, allowing you to banish any one of your opponent's monsters without them being able to interact with it at all. And like Regained, Lost has an effect which in branded decks lets them generate a ton of advantage. This one is a hard once per turn and happens whenever you fusion summon and lets you either add Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your deck to your hand. And
so tired of Yu-Gi-Oh players shaming others for playing certain archetypes. Welcome to any competitive game like ever where you have to be, where you're able to pick a character, where you're able to pick an archetype, where you're able to choose your fighter, right? It's just everyone's gonna love their own character and they're gonna hate the other ones. It's just how it's gonna be. We're not all gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya or whatever. It's all toxicity, and that's just how it is. I love when I win, I hate when I lose.
there are a ton of great targets for this. Fallen of Albaz is basically just super polymerization and can be used to wipe your opponent's field. Spriggan's Kit lets you search for a branded spell or trap card. And Tri-Brigade Mercurier is a hand trap monster negate while you control a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as a material. But for as strong as these effects are, you're only ever grabbing loss with Lubellion if you're playing a dedicated branded strategy.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a rogue deck that just wants to use a big Bystial package,
yeah, you're not running.
You're better off just playing Regained or Beast.
You're not running.
So why is this engine so strong right now? The reason why a ton of decks are dedicating a lot of space to the Bystial package.
I mean, you have DD Crow with the body, right? You have like very nice removal. A really good engine, Magna Hut into Lubellion, Lubellion into Magna Hut, right? It's just consistent, it's nice, it's interactive, it puts a lot of power in your hands, right? It's just, they're good cards. they're just really good cards, and they hit strong decks like Tearlaments. So
is because of how capable they are against the tier 0 Tearlaments.
There you go.
You see, when Tearlaments Merrily, Havness, or Shireen are sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can trigger their effect to perform a fusion summon by shuffling back materials into your deck from your hand, field, or graveyard.
Yep.
But this effect also specifically mentions
they have to be in the graveyard in order to resolve.
So if that monster happens to be removed from the graveyard before that fusion summon goes through, then the effect resolves without performing a fusion summon. This means that the Bystials are great hand traps right now because of the way they can put a stop to Tearlaments' turns and potentially put a stop to this game warping strategy.
So it is like very like meta dependent, right? It is. But it is like, I mean, as long as Tearlaments are good, like we have the Shizu cards only being hit, not the Tearlaments, which is great. I think that's a good move, genuinely. They're going to be good. But now Magma Nut and Druis Worm are limited.
But the Bystials themselves are also just as game warping as Tearlaments, if not even more so, because of the way they pushed out a ton of light and dark strategies like Drytron and Mathmech from seeing competitive play because of how easy it is to shut their turn down with the Bystial. In fact, the best rogue decks right now are ones that are capable of dodging Bystials entirely, with decks like Naturia being composed of mostly earth monsters, and decks like Sprite which can lock your opponent under Gigantic before a dark monster ever hits the graveyard. Photon Hypernova may change this, however, because Tearlaments get access to 2 different cards which completely counter Bystials and may even push them out of the format. Tearlaments Kashtira can banish whatever Tearlament monster that your Bystial monster targets, and because your Bystial didn't banish a monster, you don't get to
they don't get to special summon. Oh.
Then because Tearlaments Kashtira was summoned, your opponent can use this effect to mill 3 cards and extend even further. And the other card which might just pacify the Bystials is Triple Tactic Tasking, a very similar card to Triple Tactics Talents that's used to punish your opponent from activating hand traps and monster effects on your turn. But Tasking is a bit different from Talents because instead of only being able to use it if your opponent has activated monster effect during the main phase, you can use Tasking if your opponent has activated monster effect at any point during the turn. And if you use it, you can just set any normal spell or trap card to your field, but you can't use it this turn. Usually, Tearlaments will use it to set Meta Noise or Infinite Impermanence, which doesn't sound that bad, but the scariest part of Tasking comes if you control a monster. Because instead of setting that normal spell or trap card, they can just add it directly to their hand and can still activate it this turn. So, if you use your Bystial monsters to stop an opponent's fusion summon, and then summon it to your field, your opponent can then activate Tasking and add anything from Instant Fusion to Terraforming.
Well, not in Master Duel, but those are really good cards. Those are nuts, but those 2 cards specifically are gone about that.
Until your Bystial activation actually helped your opponent more than it hurt them. And with the release of the Kashtira cards, a deck which doesn't play a mass amount of light and dark monsters is focused on banishing.
So I guess that's why, right? I mean, I guess Tasking is probably going to come out with that pack too, maybe? Who knows?
Trades very profitably with Bystials when they're activated. There's a very reasonable chance that these game warping cards will see a lot less play. Alright, and that's the video.
What the heck
If
is this?
there's any other engines you'd like to see us cover next, please let us know down in the comments below.
Alright. Nice. Very cool. Thank you, Mr. DuelLogs, for the great explanation, as always. Very cool. Gonna go ahead and link you guys the video. Right? Very nice. Very cool. Alright. So that's Bystials in a nutshell. Yeah. I'm glad that they're getting pre-hit. I'm glad that they're getting pre-hit, and if you're playing like Mathmech or Drytron or any light dark archetype, you're glad too, right? It is a little disappointing because I was planning, like, if Bystials were going to be super meta and super good, I was planning on like trying to make them and shoehorn them into Dragon Mates, because Magma Nut can search any dragon, right? So it's just a consistency engine for Dragon Mates that can enable it, right? It's a supporting card for them, right? But doesn't look like I could do that now. But maybe with 1 Magma Nut, it'd be not too bad, right? I mean, it's still like if Tearlaments are still good, Magma Nut's still a nice blowout card versus Tearlaments, and it's still at 1. You get a dragon, you get a body, you get to search another dragon. It's pretty cool. That's pretty good. That's not bad. It's a nice like grind game card, but it's like, yeah, the Bystials, I don't know. I don't think you're gonna be running them that much. 8 more, even more powerful DD Crows, yeah. An update for the Dragon Mates would be nice. It would be. It would have been. We'll probably still figure something out with Dragon Mates. I do want to play Dragon Mates again. I definitely do. 9 more good luck drawing those 1-ofs, yeah. It's time for Pendulum to rise up. No. Pendulums should just no. No. There's still a 1.5 card Remus line that ends on Bestial package plus Spheres plus Savage Dragon and Yugioh, I think. Really? Tier will still be meta, I guess, until cash release. Yeah, it looks like. I am so mad about this. I wanted to play with the Bystials. That sucks. I'm sorry, Suzaku. I'm very sorry. But I don't know. I'm personally I'm happy. Seems like someone in Konami is looking out for me. I like tier elements. I like Sky Strikers, much to the chagrin of most Yu-Gi-Oh players. Unfortunate. Hey y'all, Rednu here. Thank you guys so much for watching until the very end. If you made it here, obviously you did. As before, I am very interested in what you guys think about Bystials being hit before they were released. Were you looking forward to playing Bystials? Were you looking forward to playing maybe Dragon Links with the Bystials? Or are you pretty happy that, you know, if you're playing like a light or dark deck, obviously these cards aren't going to hurt you as much being limited, right? So there are still 2 other Bestial dragons that do act as hand traps too. What are your thoughts on that? I do know that they're not as effective, right? But I don't know. We'll have to see exactly how everything sort of shakes out. I'm exclusively a Master Duel player, and I don't play TCG, so I'm definitely interested in what you guys think if you do play TCG, OCG, if you have other insights. So I will respond to as many comments as I can. Please leave a comment with your thoughts, and if you like this content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe as well. I stream Master Duel pretty much every day at around 8 p.m. So if you were wondering who I was chatting with, that was not the voices in my head, but it was a live chat. So if you want to be a part of that, come join a live stream. We do stream pretty much every night. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. My name is Rednu, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye.